I want thousands and thousands of clients paying a couple $100 a month. I never liked the high ticket, low volume model because, if you got 10 clients pay you 10 grand a month and you lose 2, there's 20% of your business. He had the orange jumpsuit on, the whole what this is like movie and I grabbed the phone I'm like, dude, the I'm like, what just happened? These guys start flipping out in the office, flipping desks over. Then I get a phone call from the guy in jail. It's like, I got you on the list in the morning. You got to come see me tomorrow morning down in Fort Dix. I'm waiting for you.
Welcome back. I have a special guest today. His name, Anthony Busciglio, one of a dear friend of mine. I've known him for a couple years now. And since we started doing the podcast, I started thinking about who are epic business owners who I know, who have done big things, who have went all in on team culture, who have just went all in on themselves. And Anthony is one of those people who is not going to disappoint. So I don't know where the conversation is going to go, but I want to welcome you for being here.
Thank you.
And just say,
I am honored.
So grateful that you're here, man. Dude, just so special to have you here. I've watched you grow the business. I know you guys are doing big things. If I didn't say it already, founder, CEO of APN Tech. You guys have been in business for how long?
We're 7 years now.
7 years.
7 years in June.
And just for the audience watching, man, just lay it out. Give us kind of your backstory of business. Tell us about APN, what it is, what you guys do for businesses, because I know you guys do great things on the marketing side for businesses with tech. But I'll let you explain a little bit of that, and then we'll just dive into see where it goes.
Yeah, sure. All right, cool. So I've been doing this 7 years, and I'm actually been doing this similar business model since 2011.
Yep.
So APN is a rebirth of a previous company I had called Loyal 9 Marketing.
Yeah.
So it's very similar. We focus on small business owners all over the country. And, we just focus on getting them visibility. We mainly deal with contractors, plumbers, HVAC, electricians, the guy that runs a business out of his house. And the reason why we do is 2 reasons. Number one, most of those people are very non-tech savvy.
Yeah, for sure.
They have no idea how to even go on and claim their listings online, and upload pictures, and what keywords to pick to get found online. So we focus on getting their online presence up, make sure they're dialed in on their Google, their Yelp, their Apple Maps listings, all the directory listings, photos, keywords, make sure they're getting reviews. Because no matter what, even with referrals, if you refer somebody, they're still going to go on Google and look the guy up.
100%.
And if you can't find the guy, or he has one star review, and they're still going to question if they should call him, even though Dr. Dan said to call this guy. So that's what we focus on. I have a sales floor. We do it all over the phone. So we have that crazy high beat environment. We got music on all day. We do spiffs every day.
Yep.
Top rep today gets $50, and the second and third get this. Or we do contest and team contest. We do quarterly contests and spiffs and prizes and raffles and all kinds of stuff like that. I'm doing this 15 years, and it's cool. It's a fun business. I've always been a low ticket, high volume guy.
Yep.
There's some guys who like to do high level SEO stuff, and they have these $8,000-$10,000 a month clients. I'm the opposite. I want thousands and thousands of clients paying a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
And I never liked the high ticket, low volume model because, if you got 10 clients pay you 10 grand a month and you lose 2, there's 20% of your business, as opposed to having, we have, over 4,000 people in our subscriptions for a couple $100 a month. So, even if some guys cancel, you're not losing a lot. So, I've always liked that model. We've always done it that way. It's what I know. And, it's been fun. This is the second iteration of the last business. The last business, you made a lot of mistakes, as a business owner, some bad decisions, and eventually got to the point that, we just need, we were still in business at that time. I had it up to 100 employees back in 2017.
You guys are 60 right now?
We have, I think, 70 right now. 70 right now. Always trying to grow and get bigger and better. Always facing challenges. Never stops. Just when it's on cruise control like a machine, then a wrench gets thrown into the machine, and you got to adjust things along the way. With the previous one, we made some mistakes, and I was like, we just need a little break.
Yeah.
We took a little break about it because we had plenty of subscription revenue coming in. We took a little 1.5 years off, rethought how to relaunch the model in a new, better way to scale. more compliant way. Back then, we were doing a lot of like cold calling. We were doing a lot of robocalling,
Yep.
which was legal.
Yep.
It was, and then they passed a law where you couldn't do it no more, and we had to readjust everything, and that was a tough transition. But yeah, we're on a 7-year run. We'll do about 15 million this year. It's funny because 2 years ago we actually did over 20 million.
Yep.
So optics show loss in revenue, but we have an increase in profit. We have more profit at 15 by a lot than we did at 20 or 21. What we did, because we were just running hot.
Yeah.
We were running hot. We were hiring at will. We were trying to scale really hard, and then we were just kind of hitting like that law of diminishing returns. And then we were adding people, and profit was going down. So we just trimmed down, and now we're in a good place. But I want to grow. I want to get to.
Yeah.
I'm always want to grow. I'm never going to settle, even though things are good. But yeah, it's been good, man.
Well, dude, there's a couple things that you said that I want to circle back to. The first one is the most top of mind, is you said that just because you guys were doing 20 mil doesn't mean that you made more profit. So like, I think especially in the chiropractic space, dude, I hear people all the time where they're like 7-figure practice, but their overhead is like multiple 6.
Yeah.
And I just see it a lot where businesses struggle and they look at that top line, and that's not always like they're chasing that versus chasing something that's more profitable. So speak to it a little bit.
But also, things have changed so much in the market because the last 3 years, everything's changed with the way private equity or venture capital look at businesses, where they didn't care too much about profit. They cared more about revenue.
Sure.
And that's all changed now.
Yeah.
They want to invest, or if you want to exit your company, you got to have a good EBITDA, you got to have profit. So they don't care that much. Back then, all you wanted to do was drive revenue and users or customers.
Yeah.
And profit didn't matter as much. But that's all changed now. Now no one's investing in companies that don't show a healthy profit.
Sure. And so is that part of the reason why you like the low ticket, high volume, because you have more users, or is it just a personal preference? Like, I would love to just pick your brain on that, because I'm more the opposite, but I'm not saying it's wrong, because
there's nothing wrong with that.
You've clearly built like a super successful thing, and dude, I've watched you blow up over the last couple years.
Yeah.
And moving into the new office, and like you guys have done a lot of cool stuff. But speak to that, man, for anybody like, I think there's a lot of people who are watching who are just starting business.
Yeah.
Whether it's Chiro or other business, and there's all these decisions that they got to make. So for you, what's the key to that low ticket, high volume?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's actually a pretty simple key. So what I learned, especially in the last 5-10 years being a business owner, what happens is you start to get success doing something. You become really good at it, right? And then you think in your head that because you were so good at this, that you think that you could do anything else that's going to work no matter what. Try other businesses, we'll try that. Oh yeah, we could do this, and real side hustle, real estate, whatever. And then you just you get this ego thinking that you could crush any business.
Yep.
And then you learn quickly along the way that this is my wheelhouse.
Right.
This just works for me.
Yep.
The low ticket, high volume, this is what I should be doing. You know what I mean? And just continue to do that. And every time I've tried to try something that's way out of my wheelhouse, thinking that it was going to be easy, nothing's easy. Everything's hard. Everything's a grind. Everything's a learning curve. And I finally, the last couple of years, this is just what I know how to do.
Let's go.
I know how to build Salesforce. I know how to do low ticket, high volume. I know how to generate volume of leads. I know how to put a bunch of guys on the phones. I know how to put a script together. I know the systems needed to do it. And I could replicate that kind of model. Maybe a different industry. Maybe if it was B2C, I could replicate that kind of system around that. That's just what I know.
Come on.
Like selling a high ticket item is a whole different thing. As much as that you would think it's easy, no. Now you're talking about appointments and screen shares and possibly 2, 3, 4, or 5 phone calls to sell a $10,000 product. We're a one call close.
Yep.
We generate the lead. We're calling you. We're closing you in 20 minutes. One call. Boom. That's it. That's our wheelhouse. So I'm just that's the wheelhouse I'm staying in. I'm not veering off.
Yeah.
Thinking that I could just go do anything, because I've done it many times and lost a lot of money trying other shit.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that when I'm coaching up Chiros, is just trying to get them to realize what their identity is.
Yeah, your identity. That's even better with it. That's my identity, is that.
So that's what I love hearing you say is and you just beam with the confidence of I know this system. I know the scripts. I know the system. I know the follow-up. I know all of it. And that's what's cool is if I tried to come in and copy you, I could probably never do it that way.
Vice versa.
Because I'm not you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to encourage my coaching clients. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do it like me. You don't have to do it like AB. You could do it like you. and you just figure out what that is and then beat that drum instead of keep jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing. That usually doesn't work anyway, which you mentioned, which I love.
And it's so hard to hold back when you have shiny object syndrome, right?
Yeah.
There's all these things out there. Like, oh man, like right now, we're actually in that right now because we're trying to make a bigger play on AI.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
We know AI could help a lot of businesses. AI's helped our business. We had AI take over all our customer service.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I'm like, I want to be able to offer an AI product to business owners. But that's going to be a higher ticket.
Yeah.
It's not a one-call close.
Yeah.
I got to set appointments. I got to generate different types of leads. I got to find businesses. I can't sell an AI thing to a plumber who doesn't have a CRM, who uses paper invoices. Then I got to generate now leads for a different type of client, a guy who actually has structured data for the AI to work.
Yeah.
And just look, so I, looking at the idea, yeah, man, we got to sell an AI product to business owners. But then looking at all the different things it's going to require, it's completely not in my wheelhouse of what I do now. Should I even bother looking at that? Am I gonna take time away from my current model, put it into theirs, and that starts to suffer, and like this shit just happens all the time,
And what I see a lot of people do, I've seen friends do this where like they start to do that thing, but then they're just eating their profit from the other business,
right,
and then they're literally all you're doing is just losing money, which is wild. So
it's crazy.
Dude, these are like great things for people to think about that I don't think most, like the high levels, obviously you talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's missed so often because it's just like, like you said,
I remember
shiny
having
object
this
syndrome.
one guy that I met out here back in 2010 when I was coming out here doing business, and we just got Loyal 9 going, and it was going good. And he was a guy that's been in the space for a while, and I sat with him. I showed him what we were doing, and then I was like, and he was like a regular guy. He said one thing to me that was so simple. I was like, yeah, now we want to try this, and we want to try that, and we want to try this, and doing this. He goes, why don't you just do more of that?
Yep.
I looked at him and he goes, you got this thing working. Just what are you talking about? All these things. Just do more of that. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I should just do more of this. And it was just like such a simple thing.
So simple. Yeah.
He's like, why do you want to do all these things? Just make this work. Just do more of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right.
Exactly.
Like, why am I doing it? Just because like you have this business thing you want to conquer and think you're going to accomplish certain things, we're just like, dude, stick what you're good at, scale it out, and make it better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's so good, man. It's such good advice. I'm thinking about one of the things that I think you're good at is like I'm sitting here and I have a tendency to get fired up anyway, but just like the way that you speak, obviously motivating other people. So I would love to jump into a little bit of your culture.
Yeah.
And I remember like when we first met, I think it might've been even at Keith's event, you were like, dude, this year we're going like Wolf of Wall Street status on team culture.
Without the debauchery.
Without the debauchery. And I've been in your offices a few times and I've seen how you guys operate and it is legit. And I haven't seen your new office, but dude, like your old office was epic. Just the way it was set up and like the stuff that's on the walls and that, like all of it was cool. So I'm curious to know like I guess my first question would be is like, how do you set the culture like that where everybody's pushing, there's high expectations, like you guys are tracking stuff. I know you're looking at like what, how many closes are you doing by lunchtime?
Oh, yeah.
So like, just kind of give me the playbook. So like anybody knows like, dude, here's how you build a culture that just crushes it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's my favorite part about the business.
Yeah.
Is that stuff. I'm like a kid at heart. I love doing fun stuff. I love making the employees happy. I love treating them good. And the other thing too with our business is that, you got guys on the phones making $300,000 a day and saying the same shit every day, all day, every day, 5 days a week. It's a very mentally taxing job.
Yep.
Right? So because it's so mentally taxing, I have to do everything I can to make the environment positive because they could easily get negative, quickly. There's people over the phone or we call them telephone tough guys. They're nasty. They'll say the nastiest shit to you, hang up on you, tell you, just really horrible things. I mean, you can't imagine the things I've heard people say to my reps over the phone. And then once you get them out of their head, then they're not selling for the whole day because no one's going to buy from someone that sounds like commission breath or depressed over the phone.
Right.
You got to keep the energy so our core values are EDC. You have to be enthusiastic, disciplined, and competitive to work here.
Come on.
It's one of our biggest things, especially the enthusiasm. So having the music on, having the spiffs every day. We do quarterly contests. We do a quarterly team event, whether it's kickball or we go to the bowling alley, or we just did a contest for the top 20 reps. We went to the Magic Castle in LA.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, remember, like that shit's for them. It's also for me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I get to enjoy those experiences too.
Yep.
You know, and especially during those events, that's where I get to have more one-on-one with those guys on the side conversations. We do theme days. We're having a Halloween contest this Friday, and then the top 3 costumes, we have this big cash cube that has like $500 in singles blowing in it, and then they get into the cube and grab the money. And we probably twice a month do in-house breakfast, just because I say, hey, tomorrow let's do breakfast for the office. I'll say a little speech, buy them breakfast.
Yeah.
Let's do in-house lunch today. And that costs a lot of money, dude. Buying lunch for 60 people is like $1,200 bucks. Buying even bagels and yogurts and fruit for that many people is like $300 bucks. Like, but I know that they appreciate it. They tell me how much they appreciate it. I know how happy they are to work here. And there's a balance between, look, number one, they got to make money.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they're here. But, when they look at the culture as well, even if they're not doing that well, they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And these guys are sales guys. They're getting offers all the time to go to other call centers. And I know that most, I don't want to even say we're a call center, because we're not a call center, we're a sales company. But most sales companies don't have anything near our culture that we have. It's very dead. No one talks to each other. Every morning we have the morning meeting where the whole office gathers around, and one of the managers steps up and gives a quick little 5-10 minute speech for the day. Then they have the little meeting with their teams. We do awards every single month, and they're just trophies. We just recognize people. We make up we just make up awards, just to make, people will laugh, and we do that once a month. We have our BMF belt. So I don't know if you watch UFC, but they have this belt called the BMF, the baddest motherfucker belt. So we have that belt every week. The top rep of the week gets the BMF belt. It looks like a big belt. And then if they retain the belt, they get $100 a week if they retain the belt, as long as they retain it. So we have that the belt goes, and then we have the 2K chain. So if someone hits 2K in a day in sales, there's this big ass chain with a big 2K thing they walk around with. So there's so much of that we do. And we just did a bunch of prizes for the last third quarter contest. I try to really be mindful to try to include everybody, because a lot of organizations like mine, of course, sales drives everything. That's what pays the bills, right? But then what happens is customer service gets left out, and the admin people get left out, and they get left out. So whenever we do this contest, I'm always like, all right, there's 10 prizes, 5 sales, 2 for customer service for the most reviews generated for the month, 1 raffle for this pool of guys, as long as they're on time and not have more than 1 late for the month. I try to make sure I include everybody in the office on these kind of contests and prizes. But yeah, we spend a ton of money on that stuff. I always try to throw a banger Christmas party for them too. We do a potluck for Thanksgiving. We got to get back to, we were doing theme days once a month. We haven't done one in about 3 months, so it's time. One thing we've done a couple of times too, which is really funny. We'll just pick a random person in the office that's been with us for a little while now, and we'll just make it like his day. Let's say it's like Shane. Like, all right, we're gonna do Shane Day on the 14th. Like, he has no idea. And then we'll get like big pictures blowing up of Shane and all over the office, and the girls will go decorate Shane's desk for the day, and then he'll walk in like, hey, it's Shane Day. We're all gonna appreciate Shane today. So every time you do a deal, ring the bell and say, let's go Shane, every day. Let's go, so like that guy feels good for the day. So we're always thinking of like cool, creative stuff just to keep the energy up. So, and then we have I have a team. We use Slack for communication. I don't know if you guys, you don't probably need Slack because you don't have that many people here, but we use Slack as our form of communication. And we have all our channels, and we have our culture coordinator group. So there's like me and 6 other people, one of the guy and the other girls, and we meet like once a month, and we talk, all right, guys, what's the next event? What's the next theme day? And we plan out the culture stuff, know? Okay, cool. You're going to order the food for the day on this day. You get the decorations. You're doing this. You're in charge of getting this. And, we plan a bonfire or whatever. I mean, we do a bonfire every year. We just did it last month in Huntington. And we had a DJ there, a karaoke DJ there. We were doing karaoke on the beach. Last year when we did it, we had this guy come play the steel drums and sing reggae music on the beach. So I'm all about like doing shit that these my people wouldn't do on their own.
Yeah.
Like, how do I find unique experiences that I know they wouldn't go do on their own?
Yep.
Like, just to go buy them tickets to a football game, yeah, that's cool, but they probably going to do that anyway.
Yep.
What do I do? What can we do that's completely different? Like the Magic Castle.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever gone there, including me. So it was like it's something that they're going to remember.
Yeah.
You know, so we're always trying to think of things like that. And this costs money, yeah, but, you know, I know they value it. I love doing it, and I'm going to continue to do it.
Yeah, man. I think I think two things is one, that it's so hearing you speak about it is just intentional. Like, it's not like you're just Monday, you're like, oh, hey, by the way, we should like maybe do this today. You guys have it like planned out.
I think about it all the time.
So, but what that tells me, man, which I think is so special, is that you legitimately care about your people. And dude, one of my biggest faults for the longest time as a business owner is like, I thought people were going to come in and like their job was to work for me and like help me grow my business. And I didn't really care about, I'm like, yeah, you get paid, but like, let's just help grow this thing. And now I've kind of shifted it where it's way more of like, I want to see these guys win, which it sounds like you're doing the same.
Which a byproduct, you win.
And the way to do that is like, you have to keep that energy up in the office, especially because you acknowledge that part of like doing the same cold call and the same script 300 times a day is a lot. I have a question. How did you get, like, were you in sales before you started all this? Like, what's the background? Because like you clearly have some knowledge and some skills in the game, but I have a sneaking suspicion you got like a sales background in some sense.
I got a good story about how I ended up starting my first business.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing it?
Yeah, it's a good story.
Let's go.
It's a real Jersey story. So when I was 19 years old, I was in college, and I got a job as a busboy at this restaurant in New Jersey, right? It was called Milan. And it was a real, like, Italian, wise guy, mafioso kind of place.
Yeah.
Right? Which you probably would expect,
And
right?
you would totally fit in there.
Yeah, so like the owner looked like Al Pacino. And there was 4 owners, right? There was Dean, who looked like Al Pacino. Then there was Big Lou and Little Lou. They were cousins.
Yep.
Little Lou was a big guy too. He wasn't little. And then there was Greg, and those were the 4 guys. And this place was full of just like gangster kind of guys. They all had nicknames, you know, Louie the Lip and Joey the Hip, and you know, it was everybody, Tony T-Bone. Like, it was just like a movie, you know. So within like 6 months, these guys just loved me. I became busboy, waiter, manager. Like, I was still in college, running this restaurant. I was like the young, like almost like Colorado in Bronx Tale. You know?
Yeah.
And I ended up running this restaurant. So I did it for like 4 years. And I liked the restaurant business, and I was like, I never thought about owning a business at that time. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, maybe I could open up my own restaurant one day. And I was talking to my dad about it, and I'm good at this, I could do this. And he's like, look, hey, I'll help you, but like, you gotta understand, this is your whole life, the restaurant business. There's no time off. There's the weekends, the holidays, like it don't stop. And then you're around the booze all the time, and you know, like, how are you gonna raise a family and be closing out at 3 a.m. and it's just it's a tough environment, you know. And it wasn't like, and that was the kind of restaurant it was. It wasn't like a place that closes at 10. It was a place that was like 3 a.m. people hanging out to the end, and you buying people drinks, and that's what I would have done, that similar kind of thing, which probably would not have been that good as far as me being. Back then I was a maniac. I was drinking all the time because I was in the environment, and that probably wouldn't have changed, because whatever environment you're in, that's kind of what you do, you know. So anyway, I had a couple friends at that time were like, hey man, like, dude, you're so good at talking, man. You'd probably crush it if you just sold over the phones and talked. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, dude, I know you would. You got the gift of gab. You would. You know, I got a couple of buddies of mine who are crushing it in the mortgage business, right? I didn't even know what a mortgage was. I was like, how does that work? Like, why don't you just come talk to, this guy who owns his shop? So I went to talk to this guy, and for like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, you're hired. When do you want to start? I'm like, that's it. There's no resume. Like, you'll be great at this. I'm like, what do I do? He's like, don't worry about it. They'll show you what to do. It's easy. And that was back in 2000. How old are you then?
40.
Okay, I'm 48. This was back in 2001. Right when the rates were high and they started to just drop, and it was just a refi boom for like 5-6 years. So it was like the perfect time. I got in, And so I was used to working at the restaurant. I would come in at 10 a.m. for lunch, and I was there till 2 a.m.
Yep.
Like that was normal day for me. I was doing 16 hours a day. That was a normal day for me, and I did that for 4 years. So like the work ethic DNA part was just ingrained in my body after doing that for 4 years. So I go to this mortgage company. I get there first day. It was like 9 o'clock, and like 4 o'clock, everybody's leaving. I'm like, where's everybody going? They're like, the work day's done. I'm like, work day's done. I'm like, I'm working 16. This is the work time. I'm like, I'm going to stay here and work. I'm not going to go home and do nothing. I was just used to it. So I would stay by myself and make cold calls till like 8 o'clock.
Yep.
I would come in an hour early every day, 8 a.m., and I would stay by myself till 8 o'clock every night, just dialing and dialing and dialing. And just by, and I got good at it like real quick. And just by sheer work ethic alone, without even learning the skill set yet, within 3 months, I was the top producer in the company. I was running circles around everybody.
Yeah.
I caught on real quick because I was outworking them all.
Yeah.
And then, the guy that was in charge of the guy who ran the office, he took a liking to me. He saw me staying late all the time, giving me extra leads at nighttime. Man, you're always here working. Here's some extra leads, whatever. Giving me extra money on my paycheck, really taking care of me. So this guy then, after being there for like 2 years and being the top rep, he's like, hey, man, we're going to go to New York. We're going to build a huge office in New York City in Times Square. I want you to go build a team. He said, go find like 5 of your friends, and they're going to be your team. You're going to get an override on your team, plus your own deals. You're going to kill it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I went and recruited like friends of mine that were all doing whatever from college, old fraternity brothers. I recruited about 5 of my good friends. I'm like, I guarantee you're going to crush it. I'll take care of everything. And the owner of the company built this office in Times Square, right in the middle of Times Square, the 24th floor of the Paramount building. Like HBO was in there, Showtime was in there. It was like the epic center of New York City. It was amazing. So we get in there, and there were 6 teams of like 6 of us to start. My team and 5 other teams. And like I made sure we're going in early every day, we're staying late every night, we're going to outwork everybody. I made sure they all follow my lead. And that's what we did. So we got into this new office, and my team was crushing it. I mean, there were some months where my team did more than all the other 5 teams combined every month. We were completely crushing it, going out to New York 3 times a week. We were in the city, going out to steakhouses and clubs and whatever we were doing. We were all single back then. So we're doing that for like a year. I'm crushing it. I'm young. I'm like 23. I'm making like 30 grand a month, 40 grand a month. Yep. And this is back 20 years ago when that money went a lot further than now.
No doubt.
And it was great. So what I didn't know was that the guy that owned the company, and I didn't know this, that he had gotten in trouble. He was a stockbroker.
Okay.
And he was this legend on Wall Street, and he made like $12 million in like 18 months, got in trouble, and was on trial to go to jail, right? And while he was on trial to go to jail, started a mortgage company and started crushing the mortgage company, because back then, there was no laws or regulations. You didn't have to be licensed to be a mortgage company. You could just go open up a mortgage shop. So I had no idea this dude's on trial to go to jail while he's crushing it now, owning a mortgage company, which was insane to me. I didn't notice. And now I'm catching wind that, hey, his court date's coming up. He's going to get locked up for like 4 years. I'm like, what the f*** are we going to do? I was like, all right, we're going to leave these 3 guys in charge who were good friends of mine. They're going to run the office while Mike's away in jail. And I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. So this dude gets sentenced and goes to jail. Right, so the owner of the company goes to jail, leaves these 3 guys in charge who were friends of mine to run the office. I'm still doing my thing, whatever. So my 3 friends who ran the office, they just had it made. They kind of just sat back every day. They got an override on the whole office, and they were crushing it. And they didn't have to work that hard to earn their money. But what they started to do was they started having like they tried to like wrangle all of us up. Hey man, fuck this guy in jail. He's in jail making all this money. We're sitting here doing all the work. Fuck him. Let's go leave. We'll leave this shop, start our own place in New Jersey. We don't need this guy, blah, blah, blah. So these guys start like, they're having like meetings in the office. Like, hey man, this is what we're going to do. In 2 months, we're going to find this place in New Jersey. We're going to just leave this place one day and leave him hanging with the rent. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
We're all making money, dude. I'm like, this guy always did the right thing by, you have no idea what an he is. I'm like, whatever it is, dude, you guys are making a ton of money. You ain't doing shit. I like what I'm doing here. We're in New York. We're crushing it. Like, why are we doing this, bro? I'm like, I don't understand. And everybody was like in on this whole like hostile like takeover thing.
Yeah.
Except me. I'm like, dude, I don't like this at all.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm making a ton of money. My team's happy. I like being in New York. I don't want to be a part of this. And they were all trying to get me to go in. I was a big piece. They wanted me to obviously come. And I didn't want to do it. So so now all of a sudden one day, this is going on for like 2 months, and they're planning this whole thing, and when we're going to all leave the office one day. I'm like, I don't want any part of this. So one day, I'm in the office, middle of the day, and like this guy walks in with like 2 guys with like suits on and like 3 cops walk in the office, middle of the day, and they ask for the 3 guys in charge. And it's like, hey, come here, you guys are you're breach of contract. You have to exit right now and give them these papers.
Yep.
And they brought cops because these guys are hotheads. These guys start flipping out in the office, flipping desks over. They get arrested in the office. They get arrested in the office right middle of the day in the middle of New York. Everybody's like, yo, what the f is going on here? Cops escort them out, all 3 guys. I'm like, this is crazy. What just happened? Then I get a phone call from the guy in jail, the owner of the company. He's like, hey, Anthony, I'm down at Fort Dix is a prison in New Jersey, like down south. He's like, I got you on the list in the morning. You got to come see me tomorrow morning down in Fort Dix. I'm waiting for you. I'm like, what? This is like movie. I don't know what's going on here. So I have to drive down to jail, to prison the next morning. He's waiting for me there behind the glass. He had the orange jumpsuit on, the whole and I grabbed the phone. Like, I'm like, dude, the f-? I'm like, what just happened? He's like, dude, you think I didn't know what was going on in there? He's like, I had cameras and I had microphones in that entire office. He's like, I knew what they were trying to do to f me over. And I know you were the only guy that had my back. Here's what we're doing. I got 1.5 years left on that lease in New York. The office is yours. You run the entire office, run until the lease is out, and then you want to go start your own shit. Go ahead and just make sure you take care of business. So
wow.
So then I became in charge of the office. Those 3 guys got booted out because they had non-competes that they signed.
Yep.
They got booted out. He put me in charge of the office, and that's what I did. I did the right thing. I ran. Plus, I was killing it anyway. I don't care.
Yeah.
Now I'm running the whole shit. I ran out the lease until it was over. Then I went back to New Jersey, started my own mortgage company, and then I was a business owner ever since. So that's how I started my first business.
So good. So good.
So sometimes, like, people always ask, like, how'd you start your own business? And a lot of times it's just not what you think. I didn't go to school for that. My parents always taught me to, like, even though my dad owned the construction business, they weren't really financially literate, investing wise. They knew how to save money. They were old school Italian, but they always taught me, go to college, you get a job, you get a good corporate job, work your way up the ladder, maybe work for a bank. Like, that's what they always ingrained in my head. So that's what I thought I was going to do. And life just took a whole weird different direction for me. And thank God it did. And that's how I became an entrepreneur. You know, it just things just kind of happened that way.
So cool, man. I think the part that's like, that story is wild. Yeah. But the part that's cool to me is like because one of the things I'm big on is like, you're like, I just did what was right, you know? And it wasn't like, it had nothing to do with the money.
No.
And I think a lot of people could like hear you talk and your level of success and be like, oh, he just cares about money. But clearly, dude, like even back then, you're like, no, I'm going to do the right thing. And do right, like this guy took care of me. We're good. It's all good, and then it just pays off, bro. And then you get here, and you're like, that's why you're successful. You know? The best part of that was after that. Then I had a mortgage company for like 5 years. We did really well. Made a lot of mistakes. I lost it all in 2008 with the big recession happened. Yep. But those 5 years, you know, all the guys that worked for me were making a lot of money too. I was making a lot of money. They were making a lot of money, and there was no better feeling than all of us making a lot of money together. Yep. Where a lot of companies, like, the owners make all the money and the other guys are making whatever, but like to actually know that you helped these guys and they were all, and we all celebrated together. We went to like steakhouses together. We went to nightclubs together, and it was just, there was no better fulfillment feeling than having everybody make money together. And that was such a great run we had for those 5 years. And then a lot of other shit happened after that. So good, man. Okay, so I got one last question for you. Go as long as you want. I'm no hurry on time. I just want to make sure I honor your time.
I'm good.
So like, again, mostly entrepreneurs who listen to this show, lots of Kairos, but other people too. If you had to give one piece of advice, it doesn't have to be business advice, but just advice in general for somebody to be successful, what would you be like? This is the message that I would leave you with. And I think I probably already know what you'll say, but what would it be? Is like, go out and do this if you want to be successful. It doesn't matter if it's in business or not, but what's the like one thing that you would leave people with?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say invest in yourself, because I didn't do that. So when I had that whole run back then, I didn't do that.
Yep.
Right. I was just, there was good timing. I caught the timing of the market with the rates going down. It was the refi boom. And the mistakes I made during that time was I didn't even know what personal development meant.
Yeah.
I hadn't gone to any conferences. I didn't have a network of people. I didn't read any books. And that ended up being my demise. And back in 2008, when we had the recession, I went upside down, broke, bankrupt, 3 houses in foreclosure.
Yep.
I lost everything and I had to start all over again. And then that's when I found personal development and reading books and finding networks of people. I joined a couple of communities that were big on personal development. And then I started to realize that if you're not always investing in yourself and learning new skill sets along the way, and just trying to be better every day than yesterday.
Yep.
And complacency hurt me back then. Ego hurt me because I felt like I was the golden boy, right? I went into the mortgage company, I became the top guy, got the team, top team, ran the office, started my own. I was like, hey, anything I could touch, it turns to gold.
Yeah.
To me, money was a faucet. I could just turn it on whenever I wanted. And then I learned the hard way and went through 3 years of hell with my family back then to rebuild it all brick by brick. But now the foundation's so strong. And I think the mental resiliency too. I've just learned that you just never, ever quit or have that quick fiber. You always got to talk yourself up. I do one thing every day that I've taught a few people to do, and they like it too. I know you have probably some solid morning routine too. But I've been doing this for probably 4 years straight. Every single day, I wake up 5:15. I put my earbuds in real quick and do a 5-minute meditation while I'm still laying in bed.
Yep.
And then I get my shit's all packed the night before. I have my nighttime routine, my gym stuff. I get prepared, all my clothes
Meal
out.
prep,
all ready. My shake ready to go night before. That's the morning routine starts the night before.
For sure.
To make sure I'm prepared in the morning. And then on the way to work, I have this app called Day One. It's a journaling app that I could talk into because I prefer to talk than write. And every morning, I just start talking about some thoughts about yesterday, some things I want to do today. Then I say a few people I'm grateful for. And then I say my affirmations. And I say whatever, I'm a good man, I'm a leader, I dictate the pace, I know how to win, nothing's gonna faze me, I'm resilient, I'm relentless, and every single day on the way to work I'll do that. Because there's plenty of days where I wake up, man, and I don't wanna go either.
Yep.
I'm not a machine, neither are you. And sometimes, we're not in the right mindset either. So every morning, no matter what, we might have had a terrible, sales is up and down, man. You could shit the bed. But I got to come in ready and to lead and to be positive and be enthusiastic no matter what the circumstances are. So every morning on the way to work, I do that. I get my mindset ready for the day. And no matter how bad it is, I have the same attitude every single day. And I think that's an important thing.
So good. All right, so I need to come work with you. Well, not do sales with you, but get Nexus working with you guys. But for anybody who's interested in what you do and following you, learning more about your biz, where can they find you?
Yeah, so Instagram, we cut up our podcast that me and Nick Long do.
Yep.
So it's a pretty funny podcast called The Founders Table. That's Anthony Busciglio?
I think so.
I think Anthony Busciglio on Instagram. And then if you just go to our website, apntech.io, and if you're a business owner, you need some help with your online stuff, just go fill out the form. One of my reps will give you a call and see if we could help you out.
Boom. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go fill it out, but tell your top rep to call me.
Yeah, I will.
AB, thank you so much, man, for being here.
Thank you, man. I love being here.
I love you, bro. I appreciate
love you too, man.
Just so much value. Can't thank you
I
enough.
hope so.
Dude, hearing your journey is you have no idea. It's just cool.
We'll do a part 2 next time so you can hear the rest of it.
Yeah, let's go.
Because there's so many more. That story I told you, I have 4 more along the way that are similar to that.
Yep.
That got to this point, man. It's just that. What's that poster? The road to success.
Oh yeah.
And that's really how it is.
Yep.
You down, up, swiggly, but the destinations, you still got to get there. It's just not a straight line.
Yep.
I don't think it ever is.
Never ever.
Well,
so, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the time,
Thank you,
man. Love you, bro.
Cool. Love you too, man.
Peace.